push-ups. I've been doing sit-ups. I've been doing chin-ups. I've been doing pull-ups. I threw up once, but I'm okay now.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to a Wednesday edition of the Ysn Power Hour. DJ Oakley here with you. Appreciate you spending time with me and running in the I guess you'd call it shotgun still, and I call it the gunner seat. But I'll tell you what, we got a great show for you, so you're going to be rewarded for sticking around here as we have the Valiant Boys from Warren JFK join us today. We talked, probably for 25 minutes about what it's like to be at Warren JFK, what it's like to wear the K, represent the K, and everything about that. And if you know anything about Warren JFK, Blue Pride, you are going to want to watch this. This is a great interview. If you're someone who is completely sold on kids are just not like they used to be, they're not cut from the same cloth, you are going to want to watch this because you've got two gentlemen who are rewriting the way that we think about student athletes on the floor, on the field, and off. So make sure you tune in just a few minutes as we get to that. Of course, we have On This Day in Sports History. And because there's so much going on this week, we didn't have a chance to get to Tornar's Take and Brian's Basics on Running Point, so we're going to debut it here today. You can also see it on ysnlive.com. So we'll have that coming up in just a minute as well. Actually, we'll hold that for the second half of the show because we'll talk a little bit of golf and kind of wrapping things up weirdly for the season. I mean, it's only the 7th of September, but it feels like we are absolutely tracking towards the end of the golf season, and I hope you can get out there on the course and chase that little white ball around. But without further ado, you know what time it is. It's time for On This Day in Sports History. Here we go. So on this day in sports history, this is going to take you back because in 1986, this is back when the NFL started like normal time instead of backing it up weeks and weeks and weeks and then going into, basically into mid-February like they do now. In 1986, Dan Marino, P-I-T-T, let's go Pitt, throws his 100th career touchdown pass, the fastest quarterback in NFL history to do so. And I will say this, I think that another Pitt alum has a chance to do that, has a chance to overtake Dan Marino's record there. And I know I'm a little biased, but I think Kenny Pickett is the real deal. I think he is as good. You're going to call me crazy. Yeah, I'm ready for it. I'm ready for the fire. I'm ready for the smoke. I'm going to say Kenny Pickett is just as good as Joe Burrow. Bring it. Bring it. I really do feel that way. I think he's a mature quarterback. I think he's got lots of touch. He's got a cannon for an arm. Heisman runner-up. And I think he's going to be good, even though he's the backup right now for Pittsburgh. I think that, Roethlisberger started via the same way. Tommy Maddox goes down, and all of a sudden Roethlisberger's your starting quarterback, takes him, I think, 15-1 that season, something like that. So we will have to see about that. Sean says, what time the Valiant Boys coming on? Well, Sean, right now. Had a chance to sit down with the Valiant boys earlier today to talk about it. So sit back and enjoy the two twins of Warren JFK. Here we go. Everybody, welcome in again. It is time for Warren JFK Player Profile, brought to you by our friends over at iSynergy. DJ Yoakley here. And over there, you have two of the best young men you will ever meet. And I mean that with all of my heart. You have got two great student athletes on the field, in the classroom, and two great gentlemen who are making impacts in life at a very young age. Pat and Tom Valiant. Guys, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having us.
Well, I know you're twins, and you can read each other's mind. I think that's how it goes. But we'll go one at a time. Pat, we'll start with you. It has been such a successful run for you guys, and of course through JFK in the football program. But you know that it means something when somebody says Blue Pride. What does Blue Pride mean to you?
Growing up, I've been around Kennedy my whole life. All my brother. All of my family members are alumni of Kennedy, and it's just really ingrained in you from a young age. You feel something special getting to watch all your family members play and wear that K. So Blue Pride to me is basically just everything I do. I represent my school wherever I am. Every day we go out to practice, represent my school, give my all for the K. And, represent the tradition we have here in everything I do. We always talk about tradition, and we have a very rich tradition here. And Blue Pride to me is just representing that and carrying that on in everything we do.
TV, I mean, you're in the same boat. I mean, you're wearing that K every Friday night as well. Talk to me about what it means to you.
Yeah, like you said, it means everything to me as well. My mom and dad both went to Kennedy, were high school sweethearts. My brother graduated in 2018, won a state ring here. And, we hope to do the same this year. It means everything to me. Growing up on the sidelines, being a ball boy, waiting for my turn, watching the legends play and just soaking it all in. And, I told the newspaper this. When I was born, my grandparents had me and Patrick a jersey made, and it said Kennedy on the front, and it said on the back 2023. And I really think that shows and expresses the amount of love we have for the school and the amount of support that we have for, so it means everything to me.
So naturally, I mean, you guys have, it's in your blood, it's in your DNA. So when you guys come so close to state championships and you come so close to really representing at the very top, and I will argue that you don't need a state championship to be the top of the class, so to speak, and represent the K very well. What's the ambition this year? What's the different mission? I mean, you guys lost a lot of great individuals last year that were part of some great teams, and now you as seniors have to kind of leave your own legacy. What's the mission for you guys, and what kind of legacy do you want to leave this year at Kennedy?
We preached it all summer, regardless of who we lose. We lost a lot of players last year too. We lost Cam, and then we came back and we talk about not rebuilding, reloading. We have a bunch of guys. We have a great senior class. I can't say enough about the guys we have. Guys like Caleb Hadley is junior, but I put him right there with the seniors as far as leadership. Ambrose Hozo, Aiden Rossi. There's a lot of me, Thomas, Abe Rivera. There's a lot of guys on this team that have played a lot of football here and have gotten great experience and are great leaders for us. We can't say enough about our leadership as a team, and it just every year we reload on leaders and players. And, we got a lot of young guys that play too. And I think that's a big part of why we had success here is our experience. And by the time you are a senior, you have a lot of experience. And the goal is the same every year, win a state championship. We've come a little short in recent years, but we've gotten blessed to play a lot of big games. And, I think we can do it this year. I know we can do it this year. And I'm excited as the season goes on because, the ultimate goal is state championship. And if we don't win a state championship, we've fallen short ultimately.
You guys played in one heck of a game last Friday night. Thomas, take me through that 2-point conversion, why it was just, it took everybody's breath away. And it really, I don't want to say set the tone for the season 3 games in, but you look at this, that might be a play that changed the entirety of your season as you guys kind of roll through the rest of the year.
Yeah, so we put it in actually the week of the Garfield game, and we ran it like maybe twice. And it was called Tebow. It was a jump pass. And so I'm taking you through. Caleb's getting hit while he's throwing the ball. So it's supposed to go to the back of the end zone, but because he gets hit, the ball isn't going to be perfect. So I have to like change my direction, and I slip on the grass. It's a little wet. And so while I'm falling down, I see the ball, and I just control it all the way down. And you can see I have the ball here, but it doesn't hit the ground. I have it would be my right hand underneath the ball, so it doesn't hit the ground, and I roll over with it. And you can see the ball go on my shoulder, and then I roll up with it and hold it. And the ref was right there. He saw it. But yeah, like you said, it set the tone. Coming into the timeout, coach asked, do you want to go for 2? And Patrick and the seniors, we all said we're going for 2. And I think that really set a tone as well, because we knew what we had to do, and we just went out and we did it.
That is a gutsy call, like unbelievably gutsy that only JFK would make at a time like that, to go for 2 and go for the win. Now, I heard some of my guys were kind of saying that it hit the ground, but after further review, I'm saying it's absolute 2-point conversion. It's good. I mean, you did everything right to make that adjustment. Like, is that just natural instinct, or is that like just scramble to do whatever you can to get your hands underneath that football?
Yeah, so I think what it comes down to is when I'm bored or something, I'll just go on the carpet, just throw the ball up, and it'll be in awkward places, stuff like that. I think that could maybe be why I learned how to do that. But no, I just maybe watching the game and watching games and seeing people make incredible catches and just thinking what I could do to make sure it doesn't hit the ground, or while I was falling down, I'm like, I got to control this and keeping my eye on the ball just so it doesn't hit the ground. I was pretty impressed with myself, if I'm being honest, because I don't really, as a tight end, you don't catch too much passes, so I was shocked too as well.
I was gonna say, as a tight end, you don't get many passes your way. You're usually typically a blocker as a tight end. Yeah. Did Caleb give you like a cheeseburger or something for making that catch on as he was getting hit? Like, do you get anything for that from the QB?
I got some love, and we messed around. I think I had 10 points in 3 games as a tight end. I scored week 1, and then 2-point conversions in week 2 and 3. So for a tight end, 10 points, hey, I'll take it. So I wanted to score by the end of the season, and now I have 10 points. It's pretty crazy to me, but I love it.
Pat, as a big man, do you ever just wish you had one chance to catch a touchdown?
Hopefully I'm not giving up on it yet. Hopefully it's still coming.
Are they putting in special plays just for the big man to roll into the end zone?
I'm waiting on it.
I'm looking at my watch. We might be waiting a little bit, dude, from that standpoint. I'm still waiting as a lineman to get my touchdown. So I'm 37. You've done an excellent job. The recruiting process is one that is not easily charted nowadays. Mm-hmm. You both, Thomas is in the middle of it right now. You were, Pat, lucky enough to kind of figure out what you want to do from very early on in the process. Mm-hmm. You ended up at Rice. What is so special about that program? Because you had a lot of options to choose from, and you ended up choosing Rice.
It's a great place. I loved my visits there. I took 3 actually. It's right in the middle of Houston, Texas, and the campus is beautiful, but really the people. I can't say enough great things about the coaches there, the players there, and I really felt at home and welcomed there. And part of the culture there is a lot like what we have here. You're a student athlete. You're there to play football, and you're there to learn, most importantly, and you're there for your academics, and you're treated just as a normal student, and that's the way it is here. And that's where I felt fit in, and because of the emphasis on academics as well as football, it's normal to me. That's what we have here, and I just felt very at home. That ultimately led to my decision.
So you guys are twins, and I had to confirm that. I've heard it before. I think you've told me before. I had to confirm that because there's a little bit of a size difference. I don't know if anybody's ever told. So will this be the first time, as you guys graduate, and Thomas, you can obviously still go to Rice. Yeah, that's still in the equation, but would this be the first time you guys are actually separated for any length of time?
Yeah, I would. Maybe the most we've ever been separated is maybe 1 to 2 days, 3 days tops. So we definitely, we've been together our whole life, played football our whole life, had most classes together. So that definitely would be, new to us.
Is this a situation where you're looking forward to kind of having some time alone, or I mean, I don't want to get sentimental, but are you guys going to miss each other being around all the time?
I mean, it's easy to say now that we'd love to get across the country and I'd love a break, but when it actually happens, you're always going to miss your family and your loved ones.
I can appreciate that. All right, now we got to talk about some food, man. Because Pat, I know you can throw it down. What's the go-to spot for you? After a game, before a game, whatever it may be. What's the one place that you cannot miss a meal at?
So we get wings every Thursday, and it's been a tradition. We talk about Kennedy tradition. Since I was a sophomore, we had a group, and we went with seniors then, and it's been something we've carried on. We went to Buffalo Wild Wings for my sophomore and last year as a junior. This year, it's always been wings, by the way. Always been wings. This year, spot in Warren called Little Wing. Every Thursday night for the last 3 years, we've been getting wings. And, I love wings. Wings are some of outside of a couple other things I can think of, wings are top 5 for sure. And, we just put down wings, man. A small group of us, we just go there, talk about the game, the week of practice, and then we just put down wings. And it's some of the best camaraderie, and it's a great team thing, even though it's not the whole team, small group. It's a great thing for a lot of us to get together and talk through some stuff before the game, and just ultimately kind of once we leave there, it's go time.
Have you ever thought about, approaching the owner and said, "Hey, we're here every Thursday. Can we just get some Eagles wings or something named after you guys?"
We need a flavor.
That's what I'm saying. What's the go-to flavor for you?
Wide variety, but always I keep with 2 flavors. Obviously, you look at me, I'm probably not only getting one flavor, but they have a flavor Chipotle Ranch and a sweeter sauce, a honey brown. Those are my 2 go-to sauces.
TV, are you in this group that gets to go, or are you excluded? Like big boys only?
No, we've been going since we were sophomore. I think we went to every Thursday Buffalo Wild Wings for a year straight. We didn't miss. It was that serious. Thursday came around, we were at Buffalo Wild Wings, and now we're at Little Wing. But Arizona Ranch is my flavor too.
All right, I got to ask you guys, because I've been asked this many, many, many times before. I have my personal opinion: bone in or bone out?
Bone in 100%.
Yeah, bone in.
You're not. I mean, you're not a big guy if you say boneless. Bone in is the only right answer to that, and it's not even close.
It's bone in when you're with the boys, and I think they're chicken nuggets. It's chicken nuggets when you're on a date, right? You don't want to get all messy. You can eat it with a fork, all that stuff. Okay, so the respect factor, you just went straight to 10, because if you said boneless, we're out. This thing is over, slam dunk. You've got a great family who has been so supportive of you both, obviously, since the time you were born. What has been some of the great things about your family, and why it's so great to be around?
You want me to take this one? Am I taking this one?
Give it to TV. He hasn't started one yet.
Yeah. So, my family has been supportive since day one. Football in our family is like everything. My grandparents have been so supportive. They come to every game. We played in Toledo week 2, and they wanted to come up. And, I was like, it's 3.5 hours away. You don't have to do that. But sure enough, they were there and supporting us, even when, they didn't need to drive that far. So I think that also shows a testament to how much they care and support us. And, that make on Friday nights, having that support, it means everything. You're playing for something. You're playing for your family. You're playing for the K, for everyone that's come before in the K. And I talked about growing up on the sidelines and watching and looking up to all those players. That's why when I put the helmet on, it's who I play for. I play for myself and for them and my team and my family. And I think when you have that support and this tradition here at Kennedy, it's different playing for the K. because you're playing for something. And when you play for something, you're going to play harder. And, having that support of my family and my brother, my older brother who played in 2016, come back and watch some games, it means everything to me. And my uncle, Frankie, who's been our strength coach, it just shows you that my family's invested a lot in me. And every Friday night, I hope to, get a dub and thank them for that support.
Pat, it's been a long time. I just remember being in that gym and you came up to me out of nowhere, just as you just overshadowed me. It was just, I saw light and then it was, you were there. And you said, when am I getting my interview? It's been a long time coming. You finally get it. It's your time to shine. I got to ask you, would you rather have a state championship this year or score unlimited touchdowns for your personal record?
There's a lot of things. I mean, you could have one of my fingers for a state championship. There's nothing I wouldn't do to get a state championship. And, that's the goal. That's what we talk about. And that's pretty much what we practice and live for, is to get to that. And, it's not just a saying, there's nothing we want more.
What's the best advice that one of your former teammates maybe gave you for this year, being your senior year?
I got this one.
Okay. Oh, he calls it.
So, yeah, earlier you talked about a little bit about it, but when we were at the banquet last year, Eddie said something that really struck with me. Being a captain with Eddie was so great for me because he taught me so much. Same with Michael Morrow and with Brady. And now being a captain this year, they taught me so much that how to lead and lead by example and all that. But what Eddie said at the banquet was we came up short. We didn't win a state championship. Therefore, the season was a failure. And in hindsight, like in present, I was like, what? Like what? And then I thought about it, and I thought, well, we made it to state my sophomore year, his junior year, and then we lost in the state semis. So the work we put in and everything that we do is for a state championship. And then when you set the goal that high, good things are going to happen. You're destined to do good things. And, Eddie always kept the bar high. All of my captains, they set the bar high. And they kept that tradition going and left it to me and now our other captains, Pat and Aiden and Ambrose, to keep that bar high and to sweep the corners to get it done. And everything that Eddie said and did, even like at Dalton at halftime, that speech is unforgettable. And Eddie said a lot of great things, but that one really motivated me and really struck a chord with me that, this is who we are. And this is who we're going to be for not only this year, but for years to come.
Pat, for you, let's flip it on you. I want you to tell the future generations of Kennedy why it's so important to represent the K in a positive way.
Yeah, I mean, I hope every day that, younger guys see the way that this senior class carries ourselves and the senior class represents the K. It's huge because we talk about it all the time with Coach. Guys text him all the time and ask him, how's practice going? A bunch of guys texted him after the game last week and said, amazing win, Coach. People pay attention from the school. Everyone that comes through here looks back and sees what Kennedy's doing. And for me, I never want someone like the 16 team. I never want them to look back on one of the teams I'm on and say, wow, man, what's happening with Kennedy? What's happening with this school? I always want there to be, I'm proud to have graduated from Kennedy. I'm proud that, these kids are doing what we did. And I'm going to look back. I'm going to text Coach Pro every week. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do the same thing those guys are doing. I'm going to stay involved with it because I want Kennedy to always be one of the best football programs. Not only football, I want it to be the standard for around this area. And it's on the players and it's on everyone involved to represent the K and to show everyone, and so everyone not even show everyone, so no one has to ask. Everyone just knows that Kennedy's the standard in the area.
Man, that's an unbelievable answer. Speaking of unbelievable, guys, you don't just represent the K on the field; you do it off. And Thomas, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you, being your alter ego, the hometown hero yourself. You've gotten a lot of attention, and I've seen it, and I followed it, and I feel like we were some of the earliest kind of investors of what you're doing and why you're doing it. Talk to me about how this kind of exploded on the scene for you. You don't really, I mean, this, at least in my interpretation, you don't really dig the limelight. You just keep doing what you're doing. I think one of the coolest things was it your birthday? You were giving people, food or whatever. Why is that so important to you to be a positive impact at the ripe old age of 17, 18?
Yeah. So yeah, I'm 18. Like I said, we started this. I started during COVID, like my freshman year. So it's been a long time coming, and an absolute dream for me, because since I've been a young kid, I've always wanted to help people, especially in my community here in Warren, where we really need it. And you hear things like, I can't wait to get out of Warren, or this or that. And it always like motivates me to do more, because I want this to be a place that people come back to and that people love and enjoy. And I see a need in my community, and I'm trying to help almost weekly to give back what I have and what I can do. And even Friday we had off for Labor Day, and I went to the Warren Family Mission, and I think it's like my 4th time giving out ice cream and different things like that, because it's a hot day and people are outside and stuff. So even before the game, I did that on Friday, and on my birthday I did as well. So I do a lot at the missions and soup kitchens, and the podcast has expanded a little bit to service, to not only shining light on the heroes, but actually going in and doing good work too. So it's really expanded to more service work too as well.
You guys, both of you, have become hometown heroes to me. Watching you both grow over the course of the last 4 years since we've had Warren JFK has been an absolute honor and a privilege. And you guys just keep on doing what you're doing. And no matter what happens, you'll always represent the K well, but you'll represent this area as well too, and big things will happen. Before I let you go, I have to ask you both from a standpoint of who inspires you on the field, off the field. Who is it and why? Pat, we'll start with you.
That's a tough question to narrow down to one person, because, you have to be a sponge and you have to take from everyone and everything. But, I have a lot of great people in my excuse me. I have a lot of great people in my family. And, what I really appreciated, what my parents did for me and what my family really has done for me my whole life, is they never really made it easy for me. Nothing we do at home is really easy. It was never, oh, well, who's doing this to you, who's doing that to you. It was always, toughen up, work through it. Because ultimately the only thing you can do is work. And the only thing you can do is just keep fighting, keep going every day. And I can't say enough thank you to my family for that, because I'm truly grateful that, the way I was raised is, helped me get through a lot of things in life. And, just going on moving forward, becoming an adult and everything, you have to grow up. And there's been a lot of great people. And Thomas mentioned Eddie. I was a goofy kid, just coming up as freshman, sophomore, playing varsity as a freshman. I was just happy to be there. And, a lot of credit goes to, Eddie and Coach Pro, because, those guys helped get the best out of me. And if you come to practice for a day, Coach Pro doesn't like to talk about, guys that have left, because, we're moving forward and we're reloading. But, there's a lot of leadership, and a lot of the things I say have been said for the last 2 years, because Eddie said the same things. And I've learned a lot from a lot of people, but, I can attribute most of what inspires me to my family and, a lot of the great people that I've met here at Kennedy, which, is also a family. And, you hear it all the time. Kennedy's a family, but it's really, really is a family. And it's not a cliche. Everyone here is so tight knit, and it's just one giant family.
I can appreciate that. Thomas?
I don't know how I respond after that answer, but I think that for me, first, God is always, I always try to look up to God and everything that He's done, and that's first. And secondly, my grandma, she's always been there for me and hard times, and not, I wasn't really blessed with the size that Patrick was, so I didn't start as a freshman or get any time as a freshman and a sophomore, and I really had to work hard for that. And she really said, just keep working really hard. Good things will happen, and God's got you. And she really believed in me, even sometimes maybe when I didn't believe that I would. And I just kept working hard, and so I have to thank her for that and believing in me. And this whole Kennedy family here, from the teachers to Coach Pro, Mr. Keneally, Mrs. Consiglio, all the teachers here, have believed in me, and helped me. My mom and dad, they've always pushed me, like Patrick said, and not only on the field, but, at home and in school. We said my Uncle Frankie, he's always pushed us to be better. So, yeah, my whole family and my Kennedy family.
Gentlemen, it has been an honor and a privilege to not just have you for the last 20 minutes or so, but to be able to watch you for the last 4 years. I cannot wait to see what you do. I'm so excited to see the journey that you guys are on, both on and off the field. We're proud of you. You inspire us. No matter how big or small you are or how big or small you get, we'll always be fans for you guys for life. So thank you so much for the time, and I look forward to watching you the rest of the year and everything on in between. So good luck,
Thank you for having us.
Unbelievable. I mean, that's the only way to put it. Those two young men, twins, great on the field, great off the field. They give you a little bit of hope, as do many of our student athletes, for tomorrow. It gives you a hope for that we're going to be all right. And all the bad news, when you turn on the television, you turn on the news, guys like the Valent brothers are genuine, great people. And I think that's a great testament to, like they talked about, their family, their grandparents, their parents, aunts and uncles, just great overall human beings. And that's what you want to see. And that's why I love being able to do player profiles and showcase young men and young ladies like the Valent boys, because that's stuff you're not going to see when they have their helmets on. That's, this is stuff where these kids let their hair down a little bit, and coaches all the same, and you get to know them a little bit better and build these relationships. I mean, if you haven't checked out Hometown Hero podcast with Thomas Valent, you need to. What he's doing is so different than everything else. It has little to nothing to do with sports. Has everything to do with a young man featuring people that are stepping up into big spots when he's doing it himself. And his big brother is going to go play football at Rice. In a world full of bad news, the good news needs to be the stuff that we focus on. And those two young men are as good as it gets when it comes to being good news in our valley. So it was an honor, again, to sit down with them. I don't take this lightly. This isn't just softball questions. This isn't just fluff. It's an honor to be able to sit down with these young men and women and talk to them about what their goals are, what their future provides, what they want to do and why they want to do it, who they look up to and why. And I think you can always tell a lot about somebody when you learn about their heroes. And I take I take zero shame in saying that a lot of these kids that we interview quickly become my heroes because of who they are, who they want to be, who they, who they aspire to be. So thank you to Thomas and Pat. I think I broke them out of class. So I appreciate the teachers and the principals and everybody that goes into the administration for letting us borrow them for about a half hour. I hope you guys got as much out of that as we did here at YSN. And again, if you ever have a chance to sit down with either one of those guys, great, genuine human beings that I'm sure their parents are very, very proud of. We're going to take a break because I need one. When we come back, we're going to talk about Brian Tolnar's tips this week. If you're a golfer and you, like me, look at your hybrids and go, oh, this isn't going to work well, then you need to stick around in the next 3 minutes and learn a little bit about what's in your bag when it comes to the hybrids. All that and more coming up when the YSN Power Hour returns.
Before the lights come on, before the workday begins, before a long day is ended, or it's time to have fun. It all starts with the people at Joe Dickey Electric. From replacing a light fixture in your home to building a substation for your business, no job is too big or too small. The people of Joe Dickey Electric power them all. Joe Dickey Electric, over 60 years of powering the Mahoning Valley.
Why choose local? Because you live here, work here, learn here, relax here, and celebrate here. 21 WFMJ is our Valley's only locally owned TV station, and our focus is local. Other TV stations don't have that same focus, as their owners are somewhere else. But 21 WFMJ is rooted in the Valley. Local people making decisions that affect your life, right here where you live.
You're looking to your future, preparing for your goals, and they're closer than you think. Because here, success is part of the plan. It's a place where academic and social opportunities are meant to prepare you for life, not just the next 4 years. You'll be equipped to face new challenges and turn hard work into a career. You're ready for your success to take root. And here's where it starts. We are Youngstown State University, and proud.
Hi, this is Tommy Clem, owner of WRS Insurance Solutions.
WRS Insurance Solutions is a local independent agency that specializes in life, Medicare, long-term care, and disability products. Call us at 330-953-3722 or visit us at wrsinsurancesolutions.com to learn more.
Good luck to all the student athletes in the Valley.
Welcome to the YSN Golf Tip of the Week. Today we're going to talk about the basic series and how to hit a hybrid. So as you'll see, we've got a hybrid here. Face like an iron. Back is not quite like a wood, but it's a little bit skinnier. It has a wide base to it, which helps any type of golfer get the golf ball up into the air and successfully through some wild terrain that they may experience when they're on the golf course. Today we're going to talk about hitting it off the fairway and a couple of the important facets into hitting it well. So you'll see a couple lines of alignment here. One, I have my target line to the right and my stance line to the left. Going back to the very first of the basic series, feet, knees, hips, and shoulders and eye line all have to be parallel to the target line. So we want to make sure that we do that in hitting this hybrid. A couple things that'll come into play when you have a hybrid. A lot of folks will try to swing it like a fairway would. We want to be able to swing this like an iron. So we want to hit down on it a little bit, and don't be afraid to take a divot if you have to. Sometimes you'll be able to pick it cleanly because the sole of the club is so wide. But these clubs are much more forgiving today than they were yesteryear when we had to hit 2 irons and 3 irons and 4 irons. So they're there to make your game a lot more enjoyable as an amateur or as a professional, as I carry one in the bag as well. So a couple things that I'm going to do to hit this shot. Number one, I'm not going to play it quite as far as a fairway would be, so I'm going to play it, just ahead of center a little bit. And my goal is to make sure that I have good balance, so I'm going to go with a little bit wider foot base like I would with a fairway wood or a driver. So my stance is a little bit wider than normal. But my main goal is to be able to hit down on this club, make contact with the golf ball first like we did with an iron, and if we make a divot, it's going to be slightly ahead. So our goal is to be able to hit this club, make good contact first, get the golf ball up into the air. When it hits from 200 yards or 300 yards or wherever, how far you hit it out, we want it to be nice and high. We want it to be able to land soft, much differently than a 2-iron or 3-iron did years ago. So ball position, slightly ahead of center. Take my normal stance a little bit wider, as I would be with a fairway wood or driver. And I'm going to work on balance, and I'm going to work on a nice good tempo through, making sure that I catch the golf ball first and then make contact with the ground afterwards. It should look something like this. As you can see, I took a divot and notice where the tee position was in relationship to the ball. It's ahead of where the golf ball was, made a good swing on it, got some nice height out of it, so when that golf ball hit the green, it has the opportunity to set and give ourselves an opportunity to putt at that birdie or par or what have you. For more tips like this and many more, go to ysnlive.com or catch us at the Mill Creek Metro Parks, millcreekmetroparks.org, 330-740-7112.
So there you have it. Special thanks to Brian Tolnar, as always, to me, the guru of golf, and he always will be, a guy who has done so much for YSN and in return has asked for literally nothing. And we can't thank him enough. And my game, just from these segments and filming these segments and editing these segments, has gotten so much better. And I know you don't care about my golf game, but I'm not as embarrassing and embarrassed as I used to be when it comes to getting out on the links. So special thanks to Brian Tonar. All of Brian's basics and Tonar's takes and tips are available on our YouTube channel. Make sure you get over there and like and subscribe to the YouTube channel, because a lot of times, guys, there's things that slip through the cracks on ysnlive.com that you can find a lot of times first on our YouTube channel, because that's where we take things and we embed them into. So if you want to be the first to know about everything on YSN and all the videos and all that stuff, go like and subscribe our YouTube channel. Of course, if you don't mind as well, follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and of course, make sure you stay up to date all the time at ysnlive.com. A lot to talk about. I mean, and Sean Pompilia, thank you very much. I appreciate that. It was easy to do, I know you're probably talking more about them, but they made my job very, very easy today, as most of these kids do. One of the things I definitely want to talk about today is it's really interesting, because we got news today, as we got 2 weeks ago when Canfield went to Bellevue, that schools and leagues sometimes request payment for in turn live streaming, right? Which I have no problem with to a certain degree. There is this stigma, this unproven notion that live streaming a game will keep people at home. Like they're going to stay at home instead of going out and supporting their hometown team on any given Friday night or Saturday night, whatever it may be. It is getting a little bit out of hand from the standpoint of, and I'm not going to call out the league, but I will, excuse me, I will say that there is another team this week in Louisville that plays an opponent that the league is requesting a $500 surcharge to stream the game live or taped, as I understand it. And I may be wrong, but I definitely know it's live. $500. $500. The OHSAA itself crooks its way into a $250, if I'm not mistaken, fee for the postseason. Every game. $250, checks payable to the Ohio High School Athletic Association. And we do it a lot in every postseason. Now we're going to start this and here's where it bums me out a little bit, because we have to make it worth our while. That's interesting. But let me ask you just a crazy question from an entrepreneur standpoint. What if this all flipped on its head and people just said, oh, I don't know, instead of going to the game, they'll send the $500, which I'm assuming there's more than 500 people in the stands. They'll give a streaming organization $500 to stream it back to their own high school stadium, have a big old tailgate party, and then nobody shows up for the game. Because what you're doing, instead of, and obviously I'm a little bit biased on this, and I'm not upset. It's just a matter of fact. We're not ever going to pay the $500 fee. So these schools that are sitting there and saying, well, nobody's at our game anymore. You did this to yourself. I will say this. I was told a long time ago that greed will always kill your dreams, will always kill your plans. Because when you have a good thing going, when you get greedy, a lot of times things backfire. A $100 fee every once in a while, I don't mind paying. A $500 fee for one game? So if we were to do all that particular league's games, and let's say a league has 8 teams in it. I don't know what this particular league has. I'm going to guess 8 teams. $4,000 per week it would cost us. Multiply that by 10, that's $40,000 to stream football games. I can tell you with the utmost confidence that if that's the case, that league will never be broadcast. Not once. Not ever. Because in this is an era of, okay, people are trying to, again, and I'm red-handed guilty, right? Sports is a business, but business, you have to be patient. And we're being as patient as possible from our standpoint, and we're just going to say we're not going to do it. Thanks, but no thanks. I guess we'll read it in the paper the next day because nobody's going to do it. They're asking $500 for audio, as I understand it, and they passed. I would too. Make it worth your while. How about work with the local media outlets, the local media companies or organizations, and help yourself in a different way? I'm a little bit tired of the kind of living on both edges of the sword. Because you can sit there and say, well, we don't get coverage, but you don't want it. If you'd rather have money than coverage, you're not going to get either. Like papers are dead. Radio stations dying. Digital streaming stations on audio are being overwhelmed by companies like us. By us. And I'm not here to sit here and play nice in the sandbox, but I'm just trying to get an understanding and an idea of why any school, why any community would be okay with trading in coverage of their kids, their sons, their daughters for $500 that probably doesn't even go into your athletic fund. I'll be the first to admit the way that our partnerships with schools are structured, we give them $100 per season. That's not going to do much for them. But what it does is it's almost an in-kind or a thank you or a bookmark, placemark of if you lose any dollars at the gate, this is what we feel is appropriate. And nobody ever questions that. Because there is fact and proof that we've done a research study in one of our most popular schools that because they were YSN, we are a marketing platform. We are a positive, everything. We pump it up so you get more people at your stadium to watch the game. Now, are we guilty of maybe taking their attention away during the game? Because if you look down in the stands, which I do frequently, they're looking at other games during breaks. In South Range, I can look straight down and see the lightning bugs out on YSN watching different games from around the area. But I bet you dollars to donuts that they were not going to another game other than where they were in that particular night. That's the difference. The people that are home on their porches watching these games on big screens, on projectors, they weren't going to a game in the first place. It just wasn't going to happen. So from my standpoint, when you make up just these random equations of this is how much money we're losing, we have to make it worth our while to have these streaming companies there, all you're doing is you're fighting a losing battle. you're not putting your money where your mouth is. You're shoving money down your gullet, what you get, and exchanging it with excuses for why the media doesn't show up anymore. So if you are a league or a team that values dollar signs over opportunity for your student athletes, then I think you need to kind of reevaluate your priorities. Because companies like mine, companies like this one, are not going to bend over backwards for you by any means if you don't even let us in the door without a steep price of $499.99. Oh, and by the way, the next week, yeah, you can pay that again. It's just not going to happen. This is not a power struggle. The power is always going to be in the community's hands. Always going to be in the community's hands. It's not in my, because at the end of the day, if all of these on the wall, if all of these schools, all these organizations decided, hey, hit the bricks, pal. And guess what? We're not around very long, right? But what we've learned, what we understand very, very well, is that once these communities find out that schools, that districts, that leagues have taken it among themselves, taken it upon themselves to inherit a fee to media companies trying to help their kids, I think we know how this one ends. I think we know how this one ends. Just be careful what you wish for. When you start something like this, it doesn't end well for you. Greed is never a good thing. Greed never wins. Ever. Ever, ever, ever. We love JFK as well. At least the best. The absolute best. And there's nowhere in this world that treats you like JFK does when you walk through the wall. It's unbelievable. It really is truly unbelievable. And we love JFK. We love JFK. For all of you who decide that you're not JFK fans for one reason or another, whether who graduated or not, we have and will always love Warren JFK. Fly, Eagles, fly. We're going to go on to our Joe Dickey Electric What's Your Spark, presented by our friends at Joe Dickey Electric. Anything commercial, residential, anything electrical, head over to DickeyElectric.com. It's the Joe Dickey Electric What's Your Spark, presented by Joe Dickey Electric. My spark, I gotta be honest, I get to call volleyball tonight. Super excited about that. I'll have the Jackson Milton Columbiana game for you this evening. And tomorrow night, for those of you who are avid viewers of this show, from the makers of T-Ball Night in America, ladies and gentlemen, the Z-Man prepares for Soccer Night in America. Yes, the game that, so I guess it always just escapes me in the way of describing it and calling it on my own very network. My son is playing soccer. I am terrified of what's going to happen with the wild man, and I'm terrified that I might learn a thing or two about the game of soccer, which then will propel me into playing, or not playing, calling soccer games, soccer matches, excuse me. See, already learned something in the future. So pray for us all. The Z-Man begins soccer practice tomorrow night. Soccer games coming to you Sundays this fall in East Palestine City Park. I want to once again thank our friends over at Warren JFK, everybody in Warren JFK, but specifically Thomas and Pat Vallant for spending some time with me this morning, and then obviously being able to transmit it to you this afternoon. I want to thank Brian Tolnar for Tolnar's Take, always taking time out for us. Mill Creek Metro Parks, and of course Mill Creek Golf Course. Get out there, finish the season strong, get out there, get as many holes as you can in, because with this weather, who the heck knows what's going to happen. Exactly, Siggy. The authorities have been alerted. There will be a police presence in the park when a celebrity, the Z-Man, comes rolling through with his, like, can I just be dad for a minute? Mike, listen, when he gets his cleats, when he gets his socks that are like 2 times too big, when he gets his jersey, which he'll get this week, I'm just amped up, man. Like, I got to be honest, and trying to be a professional about all of this stuff, but there's something about when your kid has your name on the back of the jersey, and whether it's your number or not, who cares? It's just something cool. When your kids are interested in stuff, you're just so proud of them. Doesn't matter what it is. You're just so incredibly proud. That's why I like watching and being part of that interview with the Valiant guys, and a lot of every interview we do. Sometimes it's fun to just kind of put that dad hat on for a second and just be like, you know what? These parents must be so incredibly proud of the way these kids are raised, of what they've done. So I get to be dad every Sunday. I'm excited about it. And I get to take him. Took tomorrow off. Obviously we don't have any prime time. So I'm going to take him to his first soccer practice and just kind of check it out. So super, super excited as Michelle, the blue and white. I love it. That is going to do it for our show. Everybody have a great night. There's a ton of stuff to watch on the network tonight. None of it coming at a fee. And of course, we will continue to bring you the best coverage around the area. Thanks to all of our sponsors, including our great friends at Channel 21 WFMJ, who I do want to send a quick shout out and a congratulations to Andrew DePaulo and I can't remember her name. It's driving me nuts. I apologize. Lindsay McCoy. There it is. For a phenomenal start to the brand new Channel 21 5 p.m. news. Just an unbelievable program. If you have a chance in an hour or so, turn it on. Great program. I will be on there on Friday talking about the NFL, talking about high school football. So make sure you check it out tonight and every night at 5 p.m. on Channel 21 WFMJ. For YSN side of it, that's going to do it for our show. We'll see you tomorrow, 3 to 4, right here on your Sports Network. Peace. YSN thanks you for watching this presentation.